And we're here, and Bobbi Jo, like it's summertime in the UK. I think this is the last day of summertime, by the way, and Bobbi Jo's got to handle that heat in Alabama for a little bit longer than us. But so we came in sort of like matching tops today, tank top girls today. So Sheena Cantar and Bobbi
Bobby
Jo,
Joe Mackoltz.
thank you so much for coming to watch us. If you've got a topic and you want an answer to a question, just put it in the chat here. Just put it in right now, right now. What is your life question? What would you really like the answer to that you've never had an answer to? Challenge us. Put it in the box there, and we will do a live on it, and we will let you know when that live goes live. How's that?
Sounds great. What do we want to talk about today?
Well, I've been watching something. I'm always watching something to keep up to date with what everybody's doing. And it was talking about the different levels of awareness that we're in. But I'm going to go through them quickly. We're not going to go through a whole big story about them. But there's like a victim mode. So life is happening to me. And actually, what Mind Valley were saying is that 70% of people are there thinking that life is happening to them.
Mm,
And I
I'd agree.
guess, yeah. But I think that we all drop there with different, not in every area of our life, but there's certain areas of our life where we tend to fall into victim mode and we forget. So it doesn't really matter what level of consciousness you are. I think sometimes you do just forget. You fall
Mm-hmm.
asleep, you stop, being aware of who you are. And it sort of trips you up. So I don't know, what do you think about that, Bobbi Jo, about?
Yeah, it's like driving a car. You just kind of get in autopilot, in auto mode, you know. Nobody taught us in the beginning how to think. We think we're thinking, but we're not thinking at all. And we know that we've discussed it before. Neuroplasticity says, the max we're using is 4% of our conscious mind. But I know a lot of people out there are just at one or two. You're just in autopilot from the minute you're getting up in the morning, drinking your coffee, which look at my beautiful new cup. Remember, I married my friends this weekend. Best efficient ever. But yeah, I think we're in autopilot, like me drinking my coffee right now. And what are we talking about? Mindset? Yes. Or levels of awareness, but I think most people are at that one, at that top one. And
Yeah.
take it away on the others.
And then the next one, they go, and this is not just like, oh, I learned it in a book, actually really experiencing these levels and seeing people go through them, like Bobbi Jo and ourselves have seen us go through these 4 levels over the last 4 years. And so the next one would be that, oh, I'm making life happen. I'm making it happen. And this is where all the law of attraction stuff comes in. And it's just like, it's all me. I'm making it happen. But what I find really funny about that one, the next level is I'm making it happen. When it all goes wrong, then we drop back into victim mode. We sort of bounce up and down between when things are going good, we're on level 2. And when things are crap, we're right back in level 1 again. And we bounce up and down between there. And oh my goodness, I can so see my journey there.
Agreed. Agreed. That's all I got. Yep.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
know. It's just like, yeah, actually, yeah, I see all that. And actually,
Forcing
I
it with
think
those affirmations. I am prosperity. Right? All those affirmations that we try, but it's not about forcing it, right? The universe knows, and you're forcing that, you're actually proving that you're in the lack. So it's about the feeling that, what is number 3 in all of that? I forget. Like my
yeah, so the
brain is.
next one is happening, it's happening through us.
Yes.
Yes. And so this is where, more of it, there's more of a flow, and you go, oh, hang on, the universe is actually working on my behalf. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's when it starts to get exciting. But again, we can drop back into try to make it happen. And then when things don't go our way, we go back into victim mode. And we sort of like bounce up and down here for a while. So if anybody's doing that, like, don't worry about it. It's just, you said something really good about walking there, Bobbi Jo.
Yeah, before we it is. It's like we breathe naturally growing up, great. But what about kids? We're toddlers. We're crawling first, and then we walk and we bump, and then it's about you keep doing it and you keep doing it until it becomes second nature, and then we're just doing it. And that's the same thing with the awareness of our minds. And I think we talked about this yesterday with Peggy McCall that you know she is accounted for every thought that she has. And she's been doing this though for 50 years, the work. So like walking, maybe walking, we can accomplish in a couple of months from the time we start crawling to walking and then running. It's, I don't know, I never had children. Sheena, how old? Like 3 months, and then they kind of got it dialed down. Well, it takes that way. If you're younger and you're starting this mindset stuff and awareness, your mind isn't fully formed yet. Those grooves, I always think of it like this. If we're horseback riding or you're hiking out of your backyard, a decade one way, 2 decades, 3 decades. It's all of a sudden it's going to be like the Grand Canyon. It's going to be this deep ditch that you have been going. But if you're only, I was just saying this to my nephew. He's 22. I said, you're so young. Your brain hasn't been formed the way mine. When I started this, I think Sheena, you also, we were 50. We're both 54 right now. So for 4 years. And that's what I've been thinking about. I feel like it's been each decade takes about a year to rewire. That's what I've been thinking. Doesn't have to be that way. I don't have a belief about that. It just seems like that's the way. And that's what we were talking about this morning, Sheena, is like, well, why is it that we has to be so hard? Why can't we just be the I am presence? Why can't it just be I am? Why do we have to work so much through this? But it's like my client came on yesterday crying to me. I haven't talked to her in 2 weeks. And she was like, I hate the subconscious. It's evil. It was so great. But I talked her off the ledge after about 20 minutes. I just let her kind of say what she had to say. But then by the end, she was smiling, and I helped her see that perception a little bit different about the subconscious mind and how to switch that paradigm, how to switch that view. But it was pretty funny. She's like, the subconscious is evil.
It's what I've also realized, it was something that Mind Valley were talking about as well this morning, was that when you go through change, the world will change. Because
Mm.
as you change the world, and it's not personal development, it's personal destruction.
Ah, that's a good one.
And so it starts to, as we go into the next level, life happens as me, which is what Bobbi Jo was alluding to there, was the I am presence that you are, is that
Mm.
life happens as me, is that you will literally potentially see your world fall apart. So anybody that you see as being successful, they've literally had something fall apart in their lives. They've had probably big disasters, etc., but they do not talk about them. They only talk about the end result. But when you see, I had one client who literally had the maximum it ever earned in their company was 200 grand. And then within 2 months of starting this work, that actually everything just went south for like 2 months. And it was just, he was blaming the work, blaming this, blaming everything. And, but actually 8 months later, he was on 1 million a month. So
Wow.
he had an absolute traumatic experience through that. And I've seen other people do the same thing. And it's just to keep your vision through that. But what I said to Bobbi Jo is like, again, it's more people coming on with another tool, another this, another that, another the other. And at the end of the day, it's your consciousness and your thinking. And unless you take a handle of every single flipping thought that you've got, nobody else can help you. Nobody's coming to save you. But I did make a joke about the Bible, and I'm going to use the Jesus word. And it's a bit of a joke, but it's just like, did Jesus walk around the Bible? Because he obviously walked around the Bible. That's the only place I know him from. Did he walk around the Bible saying, make sure you do your visualization?
Mhm.
He just said to people, didn't he? You're not ill, get up, walk. He didn't. There was nothing else. And so that's what I've been investigating, is just ask, believe, receive. Why is it so simple? And it brought it down to what Bobbi Jo was saying was the I am. Now, from my experience of that, if I wanted to understand something, I wrote it out for 6 months. But that was me. I'm not telling you that you have to do that. That's what I had to do to meet myself at my level of belief. So I would write I am, and then something after it. I would write it out 100 times for 6 months, and then it was like planting a seed, and it was like it would grow. So I think, Bobbi Jo, to begin with, it's kind of a slow growth because there's so much else on top of you. If you have a load of weeds in your garden and you're trying to grow a flower, and it can't get up, but amongst all the weeds. But when you start to have cleared your garden, and the garden's a lot clearer because you're looking after every thought, then when you say I am, well, I am a runner. And so if I just keep saying I am a runner, then my body will run more rather than going, oh, I can't be bothered. Oh, this is too much effort, And I notice when I say I'm a runner, I'm making a decision. The subconscious is listening to every decision. The subconscious is not evil. The subconscious is doing everything you ask it to, consciously or unconsciously. It is there for your every command.
So you have to be conscious of the unconscious thoughts that you're having. But what I think of all those weeds she was saying right there, and that's trying to get through, those are your beliefs. Because it's the Rubik's Cube. You mean there are these things that are set, affirmations, gratitude, rewriting your life script. There's all these little tools and things, and some work for some people and some work for others. So, it doesn't have to be that way. But it's about the belief system. And I was gonna say, but it doesn't just happen for people, right? Isn't that like Elon Musk? I mean, well, I don't know him at all, so I can't really say, but I've heard, with between between PayPal though and Tesla, he was dirt poor in between there, like not even before. Like he was supposed to be a millionaire, but all his money was up in one before he started another, and he had to borrow money from his parents to get rent. I don't know if that story's true or not, but this is the life of anyone in their lives. You have to do the work. And that's what, why isn't that's what this client was saying is like, why isn't it so easy? Why isn't it can't be easy? What are we even here for? Oh yeah, she was on fire in the beginning. It was quite cute. And that is us just reacting to our what we're seeing and hearing, smelling. But you got to sit down, and when you talked her through it and said, well, look at it this way, look at it this way, and why does it have to be that way? And that we are more in control than we think. But you don't have that belief because we're not taught to talk about it, because we're talking about how we're reacting at the dinner table with our family and our friends and talking about our crap and our problems. And it doesn't have to be that way. To hang out with like Sheena and I, we like, you never nearly know what's the truth because we're just living in the state that I am. If I can be this raft guy that I was, this badass traveling the world for 15 years, running the craziest rivers in the Grand Canyon 3 times, it's like it's who I am, this presence. So why isn't that true for anything else that I want and desire? It's about just dropping into that vibration. And that's what it all comes down to, doesn't it? The vibration. But it's like you can't get there if you don't believe you can get there.
But to say the word, what I have found anyway for me is that, just to keep saying I am, and eventually, like I remember when I first started I am statements, and it would have been, even though I'd been, so I know, like you said about studying for 4 years, that was just with Bob Proctor. Before that, it was,
Yeah.
in total, I probably every single day for 12 years, 12 or whatever years. And it's taken me that long to come up out of and go, oh, oh, and to start to believe what even Bob Proctor was saying all that time. And
Mm.
so, for me to say I am about 4 years ago was just ridiculous. Like I would remember standing in the shower going, I am prosperity, I am prosperity. And I was like, what a load of
Beep.
I like, but I kept saying it and I kept saying it, and I borrowed a belief. And I just kept saying it, but then I would stop saying it. But I also know that those seeds were planted. There was so much else on top that I couldn't see. And one by one, they started to be pulled away. And so, like I said, with those 4 levels of consciousness, not like, oh, well, I'm this level of consciousness, because I would have been like that. Oh, look at me, I'm level 4. Get me, I'm wonderful. Actually, I can be down in level 1 whenever I'm not thinking, whenever I switch off. And that's what Peggy McCall actually was saying as well. She said, she could be sitting there and a negative thought come up. Now, if we react to that negative thought, it's not good or bad. Negative or positive is not neither good nor bad. It just is what is
Mhm.
serving you, So you don't have to go, oh, I can't think that. It's just like, no, that's not my story. This is my story. And the negative
Mhm.
thought was just telling you. In fact, I heard it this morning when I was out for a walk. I heard the negativity now behind me, like the shadow, because I'm in front of the light. And it was there going, saying, I always had your back.
Mhm.
I was here, the fear, the doubt, the worry, the shame, the guilt was only ever here to show you how great you were, because you couldn't see it. And by wallowing in us, you were able to see the light, and it kept pushing you that way. That was the resistance you were feeling. I could literally hear that conversation in my head. And so anytime now when I feel fear, doubt, or worry, immediately it's just like it's like them tapping me going, what's your vibration? What's your vibration? And that was the
Mhm.
conversation I had with myself this morning. My subconscious is my best friend. She is doing everything, everything to help me. She is
Yeah.
following my word. I am the God to her. Like she's relying on me to tell her. I see it like as a little black box sometimes inside, and it's going, where do you
Mm.
want me to go? What do you want me to feel? What are we doing now? And if I don't
Mhm.
give her the right instructions because I'm reacting to the world, then I get what the world gives me. So
Mm.
it's really quite a journey, isn't it, Bobbi Jo? We've changed
Really?
so much, especially I would say in this last 6 months.
Who, me?
Us, both of us.
Us. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have. It's been a journey. I was like, what? I missed that part. So recap of all that. I like the little black box analogy, but a recap of all that, just so people know those 4 things. Because doesn't Reverend Michael Beckwith talk about those?
Yeah,
So it seems like those are in alignment with what Vishen was saying.
yeah.
Uh, that go ahead and take it away because my brain's not working fully. I wonder if people must have, people get up at 5 a.m. to do their 9 a.m. like newscasts. I'm like, I just got up a half an hour ago. I'm trying to use the brain force. But it's the victim. Go ahead and take it away. The four steps that
Victim,
people
yeah.
are.
So victim mode, like life is happening to me. Then the next
Yeah.
one is life is happening by me, and that's where the force negates. It does work. Some of the things do work. Life is happening through me, which is a beautiful start when you start to realize all of that, that the universe is on my side, and then life is happening as me. But I think you can go straight to life is happening as me, and if you go straight there, you will be taken through the steps a lot quicker.
Yep.
That's just my personal opinion. That's what I want to prove to be true. That if you walk around going, I am, I am, I am, I am, I am, and they're the only thoughts you're allowed to have. I am abundance, I am prosperity, I am beautiful, I am whatever it is that you want to be the I am for. Somebody's, I am confident, I am self-esteem, whatever it is you want, that's the only conversation you're allowed. From now on, there's no other thought allowed to be happening except those I ams. That's it. I believe you can get there a lot quicker.
But then I feel like at the same time, I feel like number two is pushing and doing action. And because I feel like I got this visual of chutes and ladders. I never even played that game probably since I was 5 years old. But that's what I felt like it is. Instead of doing the steps, we can automatically go shoom and just slide right down and get there. But I think it's the belief. I think it's doing a little bit of the work. And it's like saying, okay, I am skinny. I'll just use that as an example. If, whatever your mindset is, whatever you want, if you're going, I am skinny. But then if you're eating a pound of cake every night, you know what I mean? So you have to do like, you have to be in alignment with your vibration, with your I am wants. You know what I mean? But I think that if that's truly what you do want and you're resonating with it, then you're going to be walking your talk with the I am of what it is that you
And I
want.
think it happens anyway. Eventually you won't want the cake. So
Mm,
here's just an example. I was saying that,
okay.
like my waist was 27 inches. But whenever I'd measured it a year ago, it was 29 inches. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I hadn't changed shape at all. And I went to that model shoot and I wrote down my waist size 29 inches. And she comes and measures me. And I said, just as a matter of interest, what's my waist size? And she said 27. And I went, there you go.
Are you trying to rub it in? Just kidding. Remember, Sheena's wee, right? She's a little girl. I'm supersize America.
But that's what made me, that was another moment when I just went, oh look, I didn't make any effort. The only thing, whenever I thought of my waist size, I thought 27.
Hmm.
That was it. And so also when think of my weight, I think of a certain number, so 54 kilos, end of story. So that's the thing that I'm advocating people do. And eventually, so if we're all trying to do it really quickly, then you put in effort and it only lasts for a short term. Whereas if you let the I am presence do its thing, it
Yes.
could take a year, it could take 2 years, but it'll stay and results will fix. They will be fixed because it's come from the true you, not the front end you that's making it happen. So I guess
Yeah.
that's where I'm coming from. And I'm on a journey to prove that
Yeah.
if it was good enough for Jesus in the Bible, then it's good enough for Sheena Cantar out here in this world.
Yeah, because I think it resonates in every cell of our being. That's what, if you know you're thinking, you're feeling, it's who we are. And don't we know our friend Doug, who used to train us? He talks about that story a lot about how he dropped 20 pounds without changing his diet at all because he started to think differently. So his body reacted differently and he didn't change his diet. He still was having his wine and his steak and wasn't going to the gym. And everyone kept telling him, you're losing weight. He's like, I don't know, I'm not. One day, 6 months later, he got on a scale and he did lose 20 pounds and he didn't know. But he had been thinking, I'm going to get in the gym, I'm going to start getting healthy. And so he had started to shift his mindset before he did the activity, and his body was just following his mind. So,
It's powerful stuff, isn't it? I mean, who'd have known it could have been that easy? But
yeah,
anyway, we want to
that's
make it
all.
easy for you. Just listen to us every day, and then clearly, you'll have all your answers.
Here we go. It's the Bobbi Jo and Sheena show. Tell your friends. We love to hear from you. We love to talk, obviously. So have a great day.
Yeah.